Blessed love, beautiful beings. I've been getting an urging to make a video about the universal energetic weather going on, because it seems like some people are feeling destabilized by it, which is quite understandable. Quite understandable. So today is Wednesday, March 17th. And we now have Sun in Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, and Venus in Pisces. We have literally no Earth to ground us because Mars is also in Gemini, which is an air sign. So the download that's been coming through the last couple of days is really meant to introduce a new paradigm of how to relate to this concept of instability. Because, you know, for many, many years, those of us who are healers and seekers have been diagnosed, have been labeled as mentally unstable, all types of diagnoses, etc., etc., etc. The truth is that those of us that are highly sensitive beings, we have a couple of things going on. One, we have a lot of frequencies passing through us that we're processing. We process for the collective. In addition to that, a lot of us are highly sensitive, empathic souls, right? Not only psychic, but empathic. And when we're empathic, we have to go through the process of learning that we can't take on everybody's pain. And a lot of people do take on the pain and the energy of others. So we're in this portal right now as highly sensitive beings of realizing that the stability of the earth plane is becoming like this. And that's intentional. That's because the structural integrity that we used to feel, the stability that we used to gain, that we used to depend on from the earth plane, is changing. And that's because it has to change. It has to change because Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, right? So the earth is changing. The frequency of the earth is changing. And in order for us to remain on an earth whose frequency is changing, our frequency has to change. So we have to upgrade just like the earth is upgrading. And the ways that we used to find our stability and we used to ground our mind through certain structures and sort of things that we could hold to be true in our earthly realm, those things are being taken from us, right? And this is something that came up in one of the groups that I was with recently, is this whole idea of allowing chaos to emerge as part of the process of finding sacred order in your life. So rather than living in this place of holding on to and trying to control the way that things move, and I wanted to make this video today because the wind and the energy is very wild. It's like it kind of exemplifies what I've been feeling, like what I've been hearing from spirit, which is that this time is going to force us to let go of depending on the things that we used to depend on for our stability, right? The things that we used to look to hold on to, like, you know, when you get dizzy or you get unstable when you're walking, you look to hold on to something. The whole lesson here is that we are no longer going to be allowed to look around the outside of us to hold on to something, right? The thing that you're being asked to hold on to lives inside of you, right? The sacred order that you're seeking, the structural integrity, the energetic structure that you are seeking, it lives inside of you. And I know that we hear that and we hear that and we hear that, and what does that mean? Well, you know, it's a process. But I guess what I just wanted to come on here to say is that if you're feeling unstable, that's because you're doing the work. That's because you're allowing these very high frequency energies that are accelerating our awakening, you're allowing them to do the work that they're here to do. It was exactly 4:44 when I said that. 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So, you know, part of what's also happening is that the age of Aquarius is about living within the collective. It's about living within the collective community, creating collective communities. And so our earth plane lives are being destabilized. They're being destructured. And we may be forced, in order to survive, to come back together in collective community. So I want to invite you to think about, what are the things that live within you that can provide you the stability that you've been looking for outside of yourself? What are the ways that you can relate to yourself differently that allow you to feel that sense of internal stability? You know, and the other thing I want to just mention to you is that this time will be experienced very differently by different people. Some people will experience this time very gracefully with a lot of flowing. And, you know, a lot of this depends on your astrology chart too, you know, as well as where you are in doing your shadow work. You know, the shadow will control us until we turn to face the shadow. That's why, you know, we do a lot of shadow work when we decide to step into ourselves. So aside from doing shadow work though, what I was saying before is that the way that you experience this portal and the way that you experience this phase of extremely accelerated ascension, it depends on your frequency. And your frequency comes from your mind, right? It comes from the amount of emotional density that you have in your emotional field, which is very related to shadow work. And it comes from what you eat. So, you know, during Pisces season, we have really two choices. And I would venture to say that there's not a lot of gray area between these choices. You can't really live in between them. You can try to go back and forth, but that's where you're going to destabilize yourself, right? So you have one choice, which is to self-medicate, to, you know, use sex, drugs, alcohol, dreaming, fantasizing, you know, whatever it is, to try to escape from what's going on. Because, you know, Pisces is the archetype of the escape artist. You know, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, the planet that's furthest from us. It's a very etheric energy. It can become very gray and fuzzy and hazy. You know, drug abuse is one of the classic things that Pisces have to really be careful about, right? So that's the one side, is that you could easily fall into escapist behavior that could really bring your density down. You could experience some very drastic, dire consequences from seeking to escape from what it is that you're experiencing, okay? Or you could really devote yourself right now to connecting to yourself. You could really devote yourself to aligning yourself spiritually to this frequency and doing the work that needs to be done, the purification work that needs to be done in order to rise to the occasion, in order to allow these purifying frequencies to be a positive experience for you. And so it's your mindset and it's your choices that will determine that as the wind gushes through the window. So that is the essence of what I wanted to say. I just wanted to make a super short live and just say, you know, if you're feeling unstable, if you're feeling mentally unstable, emotionally unstable, if you feel like you can't find solid ground, that is normal, okay? I would venture to say that right now may be the most accelerated time of ascension that you may have ever lived through. You know, in Pisces season means that we really are literally riding on the waves of frequency. You know, we don't have a lot to hold on to. But again, we have to remember this is by design, okay? All of the planets, you know, they relate to our original ancestors, the ancient ones, you know? Venus relates to Isis, you know? They're all related. I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but I am going to be teaching a course on that very soon. But so the point is this. Accept the portal. Don't try to fight against it. Don't try to run away from it. This is like birth. If you've ever given birth, okay, you got two choices. You can disassociate and go somewhere else and pretend like it's not happening. You can numb out. Or you can go into the pain. And when you go into the pain is when the body can open. And I have to give credit to my mentor, Kat Meyer of Sacred Plant Traditions, for teaching me that before I, you know, had children. That is the secret of labor, right? Is going into the pain, of becoming one with the pain, right? Become one with the journey. Be truly present on a level you've never done before of the energies that are coming to the surface. What is asking to come to the surface that you have been running away from your entire life? What needs your presence? What needs your love? That is what Pisces season is about. Pisces season is a portal of very accelerated spiritual healing. You can experience miraculous healing during this portal. Not just during the new moon in Pisces, not just when Venus is conjuncting Neptune, like just Pisces season, this is a major portal, okay? So that's my pep talk. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. Share it.